What's up, YouTube? My name is Big Boy Snatch on TV, aka Wakanda Snatch One, because I got playing around. As you can tell by the title of the thumbnail in the video, this is my WWE Smackdown review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content review that I do on the channel. Help me get to 12K subscribers before March. And follow my socials down below in the description. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, WWE Smackdown was a decent show for what it was, and I give this show a 5 out of 10. WWE Smackdown was live from Charlotte, North Carolina Spectrum Center. WWE Smackdown kicks off with clips of the Royal Rumble. Live in the arena, we see the undisputed WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. His music hits and now he comes to the ring. As he is walking down, out comes Cody Rhodes, who hits him from behind. Cody Rhodes slams Drew McIntyre into the ring post and into the barricade. Out comes WWE officials, and Cody Rhodes throws Drew McIntyre over the barricade. Drew McIntyre begins to run away and gets back around the ramp. WWE officials stop Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes gets in the ring. He grabs a microphone and tells Drew McIntyre that things will never be the same. He says that Drew McIntyre eliminated him from the Royal Rumble in a match he wasn't even in. He says he cannot point at the WrestleMania sign. Cody Rhodes states on Monday. He says two men that he respects, Roman Reigns and CM Punk, declared their championship match. And as the biggest WWE fan, he was excited, but why was his name the first to come out of his mouth? Cody Rhodes says everyone knows what WrestleMania means to him and what he means to WrestleMania. He asked the fans what they want to talk about, and the fans cheered. He says he was born in this city down the street. He says Arn Anderson, Manny Fernandez in the waiting room, his sister waiting for him, and to imagine his discomfort when he comes back to the city empty-handed. The fans sing Cody Rhodes. He tells Drew McIntyre that Drew was mad that he was WWE champion, but his shame and his discomfort becomes Drew McIntyre's downfall. He tells Drew McIntyre that he won't make it to WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes drops the microphone as his music hits. Alright, that was a strong opening segment to SmackDown. We already knew that Cody Rhodes is not going to WrestleMania. We cut to Kathy Kelly, who is backstage with Kiana James and Julia. Kiana James tells her that the tag team championships are just a stepping stone to Julia's becoming a Triple Crown champion. Julia speaks in Japanese, and Kiana James says that the Royal Rumble was just a blip. Tonight they will win the tag team titles. She will win the Elimination Chamber and face the champion at WrestleMania. We cut to ring, and Io Sky music hits, and now she comes with Rhea Ripley. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Nick Aldis is with Cody Rhodes backstage. WWE security are stopping Cody Rhodes. Nick Aldis tells him that the only way he can face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania is to win his Elimination Chamber qualifying match next week. Cody Rhodes tells him his emotions are controlled and walks away. Alright, so we get the first match. We get the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Julia and Kiana James. And this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie, this was a fun match to watch. The bell rings were underway. Rhea Ripley and Kiana James start the match. Rhea Ripley with a headlock, but Kiana James throws her to the ropes. Kiana James lifts Rhea Ripley up on her shoulders, but Rhea Ripley lands on her feet. Julia is tagging, and Rhea Ripley pushes her. Julia tells her that she wants Io. Rhea tags Io Sky into the match. Julia with a forearm followed by a kick. Julia with an armbar, and she grabs Io Sky, but Io Sky to the ropes. Io Sky trips Julia up, and she lands a drop kick. Io Sky with an armbar, and she goes for a right hand, but Julia ducks and slams Io Sky down onto the mat. Julia runs towards Io Sky, but Io Sky with a kick to the face. Julia distracts the referee, and Kiana James hangs Io Sky up onto the rope. Kiana James is tagging, and she throws Io Sky to the outside of the ring. Kiana James slams Io Sky face first into the ring apron. Julia with a drop kick off the ring apron onto Io Sky. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Julia with a drop kick off the top rope onto Io Sky. She goes for the cover, but Io Sky kicks out. She throws Io Sky into the corner, and Kiana James is tagged in. Julia goes for a knee, but Io Sky moves out of the way, and Julia hits the ring turnbuckle. Kiana James goes for a clothesline, but Io Sky moves out of the way. Kiana James falls to the outside of the ring. She gets back in, but Io Sky with a spine buster. Rhea Ripley is tagging, and she kicks Julia. Rhea Ripley with a clothesline onto Kiana James. Rhea Ripley with a drop kick onto Kiana James. She lifts Kiana James up, but Julia is tagged in. Rhea Ripley kicks her off the ring apron. Rhea Ripley with a kick onto Kiana James. Io Sky with a suicide dive onto Julia. Rhea Ripley lifts Kiana James up on her shoulders and slams her face first onto the mat. She goes for the cover, but Kiana James kicks out. Io Sky is tagging. Rhea Ripley goes for a riptide, but Kiana James lands on her feet and kicks her down. Io Sky climbs the top rope. Kiana James lifts Io Sky up and slams her onto Rhea Ripley. Julia is tagging. Kiana James with the 401k, and Julia with the where was I? It says Julia. Oh well, where was that? I'm sorry, y'all. Got a little bit distracted there. It says dang, what was I? It says Julia. Hold on, let me find it. I found it. Having technical difficulties. There we go. It says Julia. It says, where was I? It says Julia goes for a knee, but Io Sky moves out of the way, and Julia hits the ring turnbuckles. Kiana James goes for a clothesline, but Io Sky moves out of the way. Kiana James falls to the outside of the ring. She gets back in, but Io Sky with a spine buster. Rhea Ripley tags in, and she kicks Julia. Rhea Ripley with a clothesline onto Kiana James. Rhea Ripley with a drop kick onto Kiana James. She lifts Kiana James up, but Julia is tagged in. Rhea Ripley kicks her off the ring apron. Rhea Ripley with a drop kick onto Kiana James. She lifts Kiana James up, but Julia is tagged in. Rhea Ripley kicks her off on the ring apron. Rhea Ripley with a kick onto Kiana James. Io Sky with a suicide dive onto Julia. Rhea Ripley lifts Kiana James up on her shoulders and slams her face first onto the mat. She goes for the cover, but Kiana James kicks out. Io Sky is tagging. Rhea Ripley goes for the riptide, but Kiana James lands on her feet and kicks her down. Io Sky climbs the top rope. Kiana James lifts Io Sky up and slams her onto Rhea Ripley. Julia is tagging, and Kiana James with the 401k, and Julia with the Arrivederci. She goes for the cover, but Rhea Ripley kicks out. Rhea Ripley with a headbutt onto Kiana James. Julia throws Rhea Ripley to the outside. Julia lifts Io Sky up, but Io Sky lands on her feet. Rhea Ripley to the roll, and she headbutts Julia. Rhea Ripley with the riptide. Io Sky with the over the moonsault. Io Sky with the over the moonsault. Rhea Ripley goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner is still your WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. This was a fun tag team match to watch. Ilya Dragunov is walking backstage, and The Miz stops him. Ilya Dragunov tells him to get out of his way. The Miz tells him that sometimes you need to use your head, and no one does it better than him. He says he went to Nick Aldis and the open challenge is closed. In comes Carmelo Hayes, and he says that Ilya Dragunov deserves a title shot, and it's his. Carmelo Hayes tells Miz he is not getting a title shot. He is getting a whooping. Miz tells him no title tonight. Carmelo Hayes better not miss. Carmelo Hayes tells him he won't, and Miz walks away. So we go to commercial break. So we get Carmella. So we get the next, the third match. So we get Carmella Hayes versus The Miz, and this was a decent match, but I'm glad Carmella Hayes won. The bell rings, we are underway. Carmella hits with a springboard elbow off the second rope. Carmella Hayes to the ropes, but The Miz with an elbow to the face. He throws Carmella Hayes into the corner. Miz with a chop to the chest, followed by a knee. He runs towards Carmella Hayes, but Carmella Hayes moves out of the way. Carmella Hayes placed Miz on the second rope and he slammed Miz onto the mat. He goes for the cover, but Miz kicks out. Carmella Hayes gets Miz in the corner, and Carmella Hayes with right hands. Carmella Hayes with chops. He grabs Miz, but The Miz throws Carmella Hayes to the ropes. Carmella Hayes goes for a springboard, but The Miz kicks his legs, and Carmella Hayes falls onto the mat. The Miz with the clothesline. He goes for a cover, but Carmella Hayes kicks out. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Carmella Hayes with a face buster. He goes for the cover, but Miz kicks out. The Miz rolls to the outside of the ring. Carmella Hayes with a splash over the top rope and onto the Miz. Carmella Hayes throws Miz back into the ring. Carmella Hayes slams the top rope and goes for a fall splash, but the Miz gets his knees up. He goes for the cover, but Carmella Hayes kicks out. The Miz with the it kick. He goes for another kick, but Carmella Hayes ducks. Carmella Hayes goes for the cover, but Carmella Hayes goes for the cover, but the Miz kicks out. Carmella Hayes with a super kick, and he goes for the cover, but the Miz kicks out. Carmella Hayes runs towards Miz, but the Miz catches him. He bounces him off the top rope and slams him onto the mat. The Miz goes for the cover, but Carmella Hayes kicks out. The Miz grabs Carmella Hayes, but Carmella Hayes goes for the first 48, which is reversed by The Miz. He goes for the skull crusher finale, but Carmella Hayes rolls onto the mat and lands the first 48. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Carmella Hayes. This was a decent match between Carmella Hayes and The Miz, but I'm so glad that Carmella Hayes won because he's him, and Carmella Hayes don't miss. I take a sip of my water. But anyway, we cut backstage to Captain Kelly is with Tiffany Stratton. She tells Captain Kelly that she had a WrestleMania match and she will not let no one bad match ruin that. She says she will remind everyone why SmackDown runs on Tiffany time. And comes Chelsea Green with Our Fire. She tells Tiffany Stratton that no one cares about tacky time. They hand Tiffany a flyer that it's all about Chelsea. Tiffany Stratton tells her that it's not about Chelsea Green being on the headline. It should be her obituary because after tonight she is dead. Alright, so we go to commercial break. You already know Tiffany Stratton's gonna qualify for the Elimination Chamber. I already know. Back from commercial, a video of Bo Dallas sitting in a rocking chair airs. He tells Solo that he took his ladder and left them in the dark. He says Solo is scared of standing in the dark all by himself. He tells Solo that he holds the light tight, hoping it keeps everyone close, but it won't because fear doesn't show up when everyone is together. Fear show up when you're all alone. So you mean to tell me that the Riot System and the Riot System and the MFT are fighting over a ladder? Anyway, let me move on. So we get the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Lash Legend accompanied by Nia Jax versus Chelsea Green, accompanied by Our Fire versus Tiffany Stratton. And this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie to you, this was a solid match. What it was, it wasn't bad, but it was just solid. The bell rings. We are underway. Chelsea Green slashed them both, and they both look at her. Lash Legend and Tiffany Stratton with right hands on Chelsea Green. Tiffany Stratton to the ropes, but Lash Legend catches her. Our Fire gets on the ring apron, but Lash Legend hits Our Fire while spinning Tiffany Stratton around. Tiffany Stratton with a chop block. Chelsea Green gets on the ring apron and Tiffany Stratton to the ropes, knocking Chelsea Green down. Tiffany Stratton throws Lash Legend to the outside of the ring. Tiffany Stratton with a suicide dive onto both Lash Legend and Nia Jax. Tiffany Stratton throws Lash Legend back into the ring. She goes for a standing moonsault. Tiffany Stratton goes for the cover, but Chelsea Green breaks it up. Chelsea Green goes for the cover, but Tiffany Stratton breaks it up. They argue in the ring, but in comes Lash Legend. She runs to the ropes, but they clothesline her to the outside of the ring. Tiffany Stratton with a right hand and throws Chelsea Green to the ropes. Chelsea Green hangs on, and Tiffany Stratton gets on the ring apron. Chelsea Green slams Tiffany Stratton onto the ring apron. She falls to the outside of the ring. Chelsea Green climbs the top rope and she lands a crossbody onto Tiffany Stratton. And Nia Jax, crossbody onto Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. Lash Legend with a big kick. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Lash Legend with a clothesline onto Chelsea Green. She lifts Tiffany Stratton up and throws her onto Chelsea Green. Lash Legend with a splash. She goes for the cover, but they both kick out. The fans chant Chelsea Green. She gets up and kicks Lash Legend in the face. Tiffany Stratton with an elbow to the face onto Chelsea Green. Tiffany Stratton to the ropes, and she drop kicks Lash Legend to the outside of the ring. Chelsea Green trips Tiffany Stratton up. Chelsea Green climbs the top rope, but Tiffany Stratton with a right hand. Tiffany Stratton climbs the second rope and she lands a superplex. She rolls into a slam onto the mat. She goes for the cover, but Lash Legend breaks it up. Lash Legend grabs Tiffany Stratton, but Tiffany Stratton gets onto Lash Legend's back. Lash Legend throws Tiffany Stratton onto the mat. She goes for a kick, but Tiffany Stratton runs towards Lash Legend. She catches Tiffany Stratton and she slams her onto the turnbuckle. Lash Legend with a choke slam. She goes for the cover, but Tiffany Stratton kicks out. Chelsea Green is on the top rope and she goes coast to coast onto Lash Legend. She goes for the cover, but Nia Jax pulls Chelsea Green to the outside. Alba Fire pushes Nia Jax, but Nia Jax pushes Alba Fire. Chelsea Green with right hand. Lash Legend to the outside, and she hits Chelsea Green with a right hand. Lash Legend runs towards Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton, but they throw her over the barricade, and Nia Jax pushes Alba Fire. Chelsea Green throws Tiffany Stratton into the ring. She goes for the Pretty Her, but Tiffany Stratton reverses it. She slams Chelsea Green onto the mat. Tiffany Stratton with the prettiest moonsault ever. She goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Tiffany Stratton. This was a solid match, what it was, but I knew Tiffany Stratton is qualified for the Elimination Chamber. Alright, we cut to Captain Kelly, who is backstage with Randy Orton. He tells her that he is not happy about his performance at the Royal Rumble, but not to make an excuse. Those are daunting odds, but so is the Elimination Chamber. He says after he wins tonight, he will be in the 10th Elimination Chamber match, the most out of any wrestler. And comes Aleister Black with Selena Vega. He tells Randy Orton that they just say goodbye, the two of the greatest, and it is good to still have Randy Orton, or one part of him. Aleister Black and Selena Vega walks away. So we go to commercial break. But out comes Kit Wilson to the ring. He says he is Kit Wilson and he is the topic. He says he was at the Royal Rumble and what he saw disgusts him. He says 30 pigs toxic. Ugly meathead toxic. The sweaty grunting toxic, the temper tantrum toxic, and all of them trying to battle it out to see who is the biggest alpha. That's why they didn't want him in a match. He is the true real man, and he can't handle a man who is convinced, who has confidence, in his emotions. A man who moisturizes, a man who listens. He says they can't handle a man who moves his hips like this. Kit Wilson begins to move his hips. He says they are all toxic, but it's not above them. He challenges anyone who was in the Royal Rumble to face the man. and refined miscommunity. He says he is the tonic to the toxic masculinity, and his name is Kit Wilson. Did you see the way that Kit Wilson was twerking? That is awful by Kit Wilson. I don't know why Kit Wilson was twerking on SmackDown. But anyway, lights goes out and Over Family music hits. So we get Over Family versus Kit Wilson. This will say squash match. I already knew that Over Family is going to squash Kit Wilson. So y'all better sign Over Family to Monday Night Raw, and that's all I gotta say. The bell rings, we're underway. Kit Wilson says he is feminist, and Over Family is the problem. He is toxic. Over Family with a chop to the chest, followed by a running elbow to the face. He lifts Kit Wilson up and throws him onto the mat. Over Family with a powerbomb. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, the ruler and destroyer, Over Family. This will say squash match, but Over Family has to go to Raw. And that's all I gotta say. We cut to the back and see R-Truth and Damian Priest watch Over Family. R-Truth is dancing like Over Family and asked Damian Priest if he saw Over Family in the Royal Rumble. He says Over Family didn't touch one single ball and he got into the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre walks in and bumps into R-Truth. Drew McIntyre looks at R-Truth, but Damian Priest stops him. Damian Priest goes face to face with Drew McIntyre. He tells him Drew McIntyre has enough problems. He doesn't think he wants another one. Drew McIntyre music hits and now he comes to the ring. Drew McIntyre grabs a microphone, but in comes Jacob Fatu and he hits Drew McIntyre with right hands. Jacob Fatu with a running hip attack in the corner. Drew McIntyre gets to his feet, but Jacob Fatu clotheslines him to the outside of the ring. Jacob Fatu with a suicide dive. Out comes WWE officials, but Jacob Fatu throws them into the steel steps. Drew McIntyre gets behind the barricade, but Jacob Fatu with right hand. WWE officials stop Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre runs away. So we're going to get a triple threat match. So you might as well make a triple threat match for the Undisputed WWE Champion. Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Champion. Alright. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Nick Aldis is with Jacob Fatu and he kicks Jacob Fatu out of the arena. So we get the next match. We get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tama Tonga, Kamibon Tonga Loa, and Jason Potato. And this match right here, I might as well say this match was pretty good for what it was. The bell rings were underway. Nakamura with kicks onto Tama Tonga. Nakamura to the ropes, but Tama Tonga slams Nakamura onto the mat. Nakamura rolls to the outside of the ring. Nakamura is face to face with Jason Potato. Out comes Tama Tonga and he slams Nakamura face first onto the announcer table. He places Nakamura onto the announcer table. Tama Tonga climbs the barricade and jumps, landing an elbow onto Nakamura. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Nakamura with a kick to the face. Nakamura with a kick to the side of the head. Tama Tonga in the corner, but Nakamura sets him on the second rope and lands a release German suplex. Nakamura climbs the second rope and lands a knee to the face. He goes for the cover, but Tama Tonga kicks out. Nakamura grabs Tama Tonga, but Tama Tonga with the elbow to the face. Tama Tonga with a reverse neck breaker. Tama Tonga with a splash in the corner, and he slams Nakamura onto the mat. He goes for the cover, but Nakamura kicks out. Tama Tonga grabs Nakamura, but Nakamura slams Tama Tonga face first onto the mat. Tama Tonga rolls to the outside of the ring. Nakamura with a baseball slide onto Jason Potato. Tama Tonga gets back in the ring and Nakamura gets in the ring. Tama Tonga with a jumping DDT. Tama Tonga lifts Nakamura up, but Nakamura with an elbow. Nakamura with a back suplex. Both men with right hands. Nakamura with a knee to the face, and he lifts Tama Tonga up on his shoulders and lands a modified Machoka driver. Nakamura goes for the King shouts out, but Jason Mattel distracts the referee. Tama Tonga grabs Nakamura by the leg, and Tama Tonga with the cutthroat. Tama Tonga with another cutthroat. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Tama Tonga. This was a pretty good match, what it was. We cut backstage and we see the Motor City Machine Guns with Fraxim. In comes Candice LeRae and she tells them to look at what they did to Johnny Gargano. We see Johnny Gargano laying down. She tells them that they didn't know what it meant to Johnny Gargano to lose his mask. Axiom tells her that was his mask, and they walk away. Candice Ray tells the Motor City Machine Guns that they have known him for a long time and talked to him, and they tell her that they remember when he turned his back on them and cost them. They walk away, and Candice Ray tries to get Johnny Gargano to his feet. And one thing I gotta say is this: where is the Street Profits, and where is Kevin Owens at? Why the Street Profits? Why are the Street Profits are still sitting in catering? And in the second, and then the second, where is Kevin Owens at? That's all I gotta say. Not to mention, I miss Bianca Belair too, so I hope Bianca Belair shows up at the Elimination Chamber. And that's all I gotta say. But anyway, let me continue. We cut to Captain Kelly with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Io Sky tells her that they put up a good match, but these are still their titles. Rhea Ripley says they are that they are on the road to WrestleMania 42, and they don't plan on losing the titles. Rhea Ripley says she will take this mountain to Raw for her Elimination Chamber qualifier. In comes Nia Jax and Last Legend. Nia Jax tells Rhea Ripley that a spot in the Elimination Chamber would be wasted on her. It will have been Last Legend. Rhea Ripley says they whining, and Last Legend cuts her off. Nia Jax tells them that they are lucky they were not in the ring with them tonight because they would be champions. Nia Jax says they have been ducking them, and they will talk to Nick Aldis. Nia Jax and Last Legend walk away. We see Liv Morgan and Victoria Rodriguez walk in, look at them, and leave. There's an elephant in the room that Victoria Rodriguez is going to cost Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. I can definitely see that, but I hope Victoria Rodriguez is going to turn on Liv Morgan, just like Liv Morgan turned on Victoria Rodriguez at the Royal Rumble. Alright, so we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, and Kit Wilson is walking backstage. He sees Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews. Where has Apollo Crews been at? He tells Matt Cardona that it is all his fault. Toxic Match Community was out before Matt Cardona came back. Matt Cardona tells him if he wants to step up, he is always ready. Kit Wilson says he needs a warm bath and walks away. Nick Aldis is in the ring, and he welcomes the 2026 Women's World Rumble winner, Liv Morgan, to the ring. Out she comes with Victoria Rodriguez. Liv says that they are now in the presence of the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. Liv Morgan says it's not just the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. She is the hottest, the smartest, the funniest, the most charismatic, the most talented, and the most iconic woman in the history of WWE. Liv Morgan says that comes with a lot of power. With a great power comes great responsibility. Liv Morgan says she has a big decision to make and not much time to make it. She can choose Stephanie McCare for the Women's World Champion, or she can choose to face Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. She says she has been thinking really, really long and hard about it. She says she has to be honest. WrestleMania is not the only thing that has been on her mind. There is a huge elephant in the room that she would like to talk about. Liv Morgan looked at Victoria Rodriguez and begins to talk, but Victoria Rodriguez grabs the microphone and says no. Victoria Rodriguez says she wants to address the elephant in the room. The lights turn black, and out comes Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill gets in the ring and tells Liv Morgan that she doesn't care that she won the Royal Rumble. She says if Liv chooses her, she's gonna beat her at WrestleMania. She asks Victoria Rodriguez what she is looking at. Liv Morgan begins to laugh and tells Jade Cargill that she is funny. Liv Morgan tells her if she was Jade Cargill, she would watch what she say, because she can choose Stephanie McCare at WrestleMania, and let Raquel humble her to become champion. Out comes Jordan Grace, and she congratulates Liv Morgan. But if she can't get the champion to defend her title, it might be her she will face in Las Vegas. Liv Morgan begins to laugh. She tells Jordan Grace that she knows she is new, but she doesn't know who she thinks she is. Liv Morgan says she is the greatest Royal Rumble winner. Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace tell her to shut up at the same time. That part was funny. Nick Aldis breaks it up and tells Liv Morgan that one condition for her being on SmackDown is if she is available to talk, she is available to fight. She says they will do it. Liv Morgan will do Liv Morgan with Cora Rodriguez against Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace. So we get Liv Morgan with Cora Rodriguez versus Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace. And this tag team match right here, this was a squash tag team match. The referee comes out and rings the bell. Jordan Grace throws Liv Morgan to the outside and Jade Cargill with a spine buster onto Cora Rodriguez. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Cora Rodriguez with a power slam onto Jordan Grace. She goes for the cover, but Jordan Grace kicks out. Cora Rodriguez with a back suplex. Cora Rodriguez climbs the second rope and goes for a corkscrew splash, but Jordan Grace moves out of the way. Liv Morgan is tagging and she lands a suplex, but Liv Morgan with another suplex. She goes for a third, but Jordan Grace with a suplex. Jordan Grace with a clothesline followed by a body slam. Jordan Grace goes for the cover, but Cora Rodriguez breaks it up. Jordan Grace with a back elbow onto Cora Rodriguez, and she throws her to the outside of the ring. Jordan Grace lifts Liv Morgan up on her shoulders, but Liv Morgan lands on her feet and lands a double knees. Cora Rodriguez is tagged in, and she runs, hitting Jade Cargill off the ring apron. Jade Cargill gets back in the ring. She goes for a super kick onto Cora Rodriguez, but she moves, and Jade Cargill kicks Jordan Grace. Cora Rodriguez goes for a big boot onto Jade Cargill, but she moves out of the way. And Cora Rodriguez big boots Liv Morgan and comes Jordan Grace from behind. She pushes Cora Rodriguez onto Jade Cargill, and she rolls Cora Rodriguez up and getting the pin. So, the winner of the match, Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace. This was a squash match, but Cora Rodriguez took the pinfall. Sami Zayn is backstage and is stopped by Rey Fenix. He is stopped by Trick Williams. He says that Sami Zayn is someone who can get the job done. He says Sami Zayn is Charles Barkley and he is Michael Jordan. Rey Fenix tells Trick Williams that he has a big mouth, and if he keeps talking, he will knock his teeth out. Trick Williams tells him anytime, anywhere, and he walks away. Rey Fenix leaves and Sami Zayn looks down. So we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Nick Aldis is with Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace. He says that Jade will defend her title against Jordan Grace next week on SmackDown. Out comes Drew McIntyre, who says that Cody Rhodes and Jericho Fatu should be banned. He says he crushes Sami Zayn, and that will happen to anyone who gets in the ring with Drew McIntyre. He says on Raw, they tried to put him down and SmackDown down. He says this man has been through hell to get this title. He never quit. When time got tough, he would never go part time, and he wouldn't leave the ring. He wouldn't leave with the world shut down. He says that Smartins, the Hogans, the Bret Harts, the Shawn Michaels, the not Dusty Rhodes and Triple H and Stone Cold's The Rock. If you said this was not the number one title, he calls you a liar. He says he knows why Roman picked CM Punk. He has a 280-pound war machine on the other one. You have a tattoo, Scoliopath, who is always one fall away from retiring. He says without his family, he will beat Roman Reigns while they are trying to oil farm. he has the entire roster fighting to face him. The real champion is the real best in the world and the main event of WrestleMania 42. Alright, Trick Williams comes out and he says he thought he would come out, watch the main event and watch the qualifying match, and then it hit him that Drew is worried about all the wrong things about Roman Reigns and CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu. He tells him he needs to be worried about the future of the business. He says Trick Williams is the man who will take the title off him at WrestleMania 42. Alright. Drew McIntyre said step up to Trick Williams and step Trick Williams up. Drew McIntyre tells him to learn to walk before he runs. If he does it again, he will stick those lemon pepper steppers where the sun doesn't shine. Now Drew McIntyre cooked Trick Williams in this segment right here. Alright. Commercial break. So Sikoa is walking backstage and he is stopped by Captain Kelly. He asks her if she has seen the MLTs and he is talking. We see the Ryan 6 logo flash on screen. He tells him that she hasn't seen them. Solo grabs the lantern and walks to the ring. Out comes Aleister Black with Selena Vega. Randy Orton comes down to the ring. So we get the qualifying match. Randy Orton versus. So we get a main event of the evening. The Triple Threat match. Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa versus Aleister Black. In this triple threat match, I ain't even gonna lie to you. This was a good triple threat match. But I'm glad Randy Orton won. The bell rings were underway. Randy Orton and Solo to the outside of the ring. Solo throws Randy Orton into the ring post. Aleister Black climbs to the top rope and lands a moonsault onto Solo. Aleister Black with a big boot onto Randy Orton. So we go to commercial break. Bathroom commercial. Aleister Black with kicks onto Randy Orton in the corner. Aleister Black to the ropes, but Solo drags him to the outside of the ring. And he throws Aleister Black into the barricade. Trick Williams is watching at ringside, and Solo Sikoa looks at him. Solo Sikoa gets back into the ring and lifts Randy Orton with a right hand. Randy Orton gets up and he lands a clothesline. Randy Orton goes for a snap power slam, but Solo Sikoa hangs on the top rope. Aleister Black with a kick onto Randy Orton. Solo Sikoa with a pop-up Samoa drop onto Aleister Black. He goes for the cover, but Aleister Black kicks out. So we go to commercial break. Bathroom commercial. Randy Orton with a superplex on Aleister Black off the top rope. Solo Sikoa with a splash off the top rope onto Randy Orton. He goes for the cover, but Randy Orton kicks out. Solo Sikoa and Aleister Black with right hands, but Solo gets back in the corner. Solo goes for a running hip attack, but Aleister Black moves out of the way. Randy Orton gets in the ring and snaps slams Aleister Black. Randy Orton gets Solo, who is on the ring apron, but Solo slides to the outside and rolls Randy Orton to the outside. Randy Orton with right hands and he slams Solo onto the announcer table. Aleister Black to the outside, but Randy Orton with a pull to the eyes. Randy Orton slams Aleister Black onto the announcer table. Randy Orton throws Solo Sikoa back into the ring, and he gets back in the ring. Solo Sikoa gets on the ring apron, and Randy Orton with a draping DDT. In comes Aleister Black, who hits Randy Orton with a big boot. Solo Sikoa with a spinning solo onto Aleister Black. He goes for the cover, but Aleister Black kicks out. Solo Sikoa goes for a Samoan spike, but Aleister Black moves out of the way. Aleister Black with a knee followed by a German suplex. He goes for the cover, but Solo Sikoa kicks out. Aleister Black with a running knee to the face. He goes for the cover, but Solo Sikoa kicks out. Randy Orton gets in the ring and goes for a RKO, but Aleister Black rolls him up. Randy Orton kicks out, and Aleister Black with a knee to the face. Aleister Black goes for the black mask. Randy Orton moves out of the way, and he lands an RKO. Aleister Black rolls out of the ring. Randy Orton gets up, and Solo goes for a Samoan spike, goes for Samoa's fight. Randy Orton with his back, Randy Orton with his back. Yeah, Randy Orton with his back to Solo and lands the RKO. He goes for the cover and gets the pin. The winner of the match, Randy Orton. This was a good main event. True, that match what it was, but I'm glad that Randy Orton is qualified for the Elimination Chamber. He celebrates and SmackDown goes off the air. Alright, let me get my eyes painted when I think about WWE Smackdown. Now, WWE Smackdown was a decent show for what it was, and I give that show a 5 out of 10. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed my WWE Smackdown review and highlights, make sure you guys please watch the entire video from all the way from the beginning on towards the end. Give me 10 likes on this video so it goes to YouTube out of random. Follow my social media down below in the description, and I'll see you guys tomorrow live on Twitch for some Fortnite. Want you guys have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here, gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet, gang. And I will see you guys on my upcoming world premiere for my WWE Smackdown review and highlights at around 5 o'clock a.m. on YouTube. Make sure you guys please help me get to 12K subscribers before March. So, and help me get my 10K subscribers back first before I hit my 12K subscribers before March. Alright, enough of that. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here, gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet, gang. And I just want to address something. I've been taking care of my mom. You know what I'm saying? My mom is my #1 priority, and I got big responsibilities. So I'm glad that I took care of my mom first before I start recording my WWE Smackdown review high. So, and that's all I gotta say. I just want to just let y'all know that I love my mom so much, man. My mom watches my YouTube videos every time. So, and that's all I gotta say. And I've been taking care of my mom because I got a big full responsibility. You know what I'm saying? My mom is my #1 priority, and I love my mom so much from the bottom of my heart. And that's all I gotta say from here. So anyway, let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think, what you guys thought of what I said, because I just had to put this out there. This is the honest truth. You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. And I'll see you guys at my upcoming world premiere at 5 o'clock a.m. right here on YouTube. For my upcoming world premiere for my WWE Smackdown review hotline around 5 o'clock a.m. on YouTube. So stay too sweet. Hit that subscribe button so I can get to 12K subscribers before March. Because I'm really trying my best to get my 10K subscribers back before I hit 12K subscribers on YouTube. So stay too sweet. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Have a great night and stay too sweet. I'm out of here, gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet, gang.